and welcome to Stage to Sofa. Today I am joined by a very special guest who has many strings to her bow. She's a renowned conductor, pianist, music director and vocal and language coach. The wonderful Lada Valešová has worked at many different opera houses all around the world, particularly recently at the Royal Opera House for their upcoming production of Yennefer. Lada, thank you for joining me today.
Such a pleasure, Phoebe.
Oh no, the pleasure's all mine. So how are you coping with this huge transition that we've been faced with in our industry today?
Well, it's a strange, different time, but so far I think I've been lucky to still continue some aspects of my work, online coaching, and that gave structure to my days. I also been studying myself and a member of many forums, dropping in, listen to other people, because suddenly we have all this material available. People are giving interviews, people are being, generous with their time. So yes, at the beginning I thought this is going to be very strange. What will I do? And I planned all the scores I will study and all the books I will read. But pretty quickly my days became quite busy with various things. So that definitely helps.
Definitely, it's good to be busy, even if it albeit online. Now, if I may, I would love to take you back to your very early music training, where I believe you were studying in Moscow at the age of 6 years old, which is so young. Can you tell us a little bit about what was going on for you at that point in time, and what were your earliest memories of music?
Well, my mom is very musical, and my parents are luckily very supportive of my development from the very beginning. And the whole piano thing started because I was I was put in a class of ballet, believe it or not, in the Palace of Young Pioneers of all places. And as I was about 5 years old, and I was definitely not a ballet type, but you had opportunity to do it. And at some point, my mom, who sat and waited for me to do the classes, noticed that I'm not paying much attention to which leg I'm lifting and which arm I kept hitting the girls behind me. And the reason for that was there was a lady playing the piano for us for the classes. And I kept constantly turning back and watching her play. And of course, at some point, mom said, "You really like the lady playing the piano for the class. Is that what you would like to do?" And so it didn't take long, and I was enrolled in this music school. There are many children's music schools in every region of Moscow where I lived at the time. And I started my piano lessons with my lovely teacher, Natalia Viktorovna. So that was the very beginning of that.
And what was your earliest memory of actual music making? How old were you when you had your first concert?
I think I must have been around 7 or 8, and it was one of the little school concerts where children performed their little pieces. My earliest memory is, it was probably the very first year, or maybe even the second, third month of my studying the piano with my teacher, and she gave a class concert. But because I was so fresh, I can understand now as a teacher myself that to expose me playing my couple of notes maybe wasn't the best thing. And so I wasn't playing in that concert, and I was incredibly upset that I wasn't included. And I still have the photos of our entire class when everybody is smiling, and I look so miserable. So it's actually quite funny. So the desire to be on stage and play and like the others do definitely was there from the beginning.
Oh, that's so amazing. I'd love to see that picture one time. That's brilliant. So you then went on from your early studies to go to the Prague Music Conservatoire and then eventually the Guildhall School of Music and Drama. I'm wondering, how did you find that transition once you'd finished all of that education, such an early start and such a long period of time? How did you maneuver that change into the professional life?
That is a very good question, because we all have to deal with it. With me, it happened quite organically. Once I finished, so the last thing I did at the Guildhall as a student is that I was very fortunate to be a repetiteur at the opera course. And as I was already doing that, I already did some coaching at the school. It was Robin Bowman who gave me the first opportunity and asked me to maybe start something with the students in a sense of a Russian song class. So organically, I already started doing that. Also, I had some piano teaching in various schools. I didn't teach privately very much, simply because I think I always was aware of time it takes to go from one student to another, and in a way it was easier to be in the school. Also, having to work was part of my visa condition, because at the time Czech Republic wasn't a member of European Union, so I needed, in order to fulfill my permission to stay here, I had to have work lined up. So in a way it snowballed from various piano teaching and mainly then the language and vocal coaching.
That's amazing. And Robin Bowman is a fantastic human being. So I'm glad that
Yes.
he was your first person. That's amazing. Now, I'm wondering, you're at such an incredible point in your career, very established. What has been the biggest obstacle that you found to get to the point that you're at today?
You're a very good interviewer. The biggest obstacle, I think we are our own biggest obstacles. I cannot, it's easy to maybe think, oh, this really didn't help me, or if that person gave me that opportunity, or that door didn't open. But I think it's daily work on me, which is, I am my biggest challenge and I am my biggest obstacle, but also the only person who can actually make things happen for me. I think every obstacle to some extent is an opportunity, if we see it that way. If we have to overcome it, we have to think how to deal with it. And often I look back at certain things which happened in my career, my life, which at the time sounded devastating for me, and I felt so let down perhaps, or unfairly maybe denied something I thought I deserved. But looking back, I always see how much sense it made later, that I was actually protected and very fortunate not to be given that path, not for that door not to open at that particular point, because it made me work harder at something else which I needed to find as an alternative.
I think there's definitely something to be said for everything happens for a reason. In my personal experience, completely, and by the sound of it, the same with yours.
Yes.
Now, in terms of advice for the next generation of young singers, young conductors, young pianists, and music directors, what advice would you give to people watching this perhaps now who are in that position, who are suddenly trying to maneuver their way through this enormity of change that we're experiencing in our industry?
Mm-hmm. Well, there is a long-term advice which we could have given easily before any of this happened. And this is a little bit more difficult to navigate, because I think we will all have to be listening very carefully as to what is happening, and having our ears and eyes open as to where the opportunities are. And we are the ones who have to create those opportunities. We have to be part of that process. We cannot just wait that somebody will organize something and it's going to happen, and somebody will ask me to do and come and do something, offer me something on a plate. We can be part of the change and creating our opportunities. Short term, I tuned into a very interesting masterclass online, which is happening currently in Moscow, of the Yelena Vysotskaya School of Vocal Art. And the head of Bolshoi Theater's opera studio gave a very good advice to his Russian charges, because the same question appeared. What do we do? We can't go out and our perspectives suddenly have changed. And he said, it's a time you've been given. So for example, languages, in my generation, he said, we had no access to so many things online. You can improve your languages. You will need it once things are working again, once you are out there again. Improve the languages, listen to Duolingo, take on a free course of Russian if you want. There are so many out there. He said, for example, learn to drive. If you don't know how to drive yet, or you are a little bit, insecure, you will need it in your work. Tune into YouTube, watch the videos, listen to interpretations. So basically get ammunition ready and be ready, because once things start happening, the one who is ready, who has been soaking things up, will be in a better position to be available. And I also think because perhaps there won't be as many opportunities for exchange internationally, the young artists who are based here, there might be opportunities for them at this stage, because also let's speak practically about the costs of bringing people in. and the various fees certain people command. So I think this advice goes for singers, pianists, conductors. I think it goes across the board.
I fully agree. And I think if there is an opportunity out there, and now is the time to grab it and really think forward. I'm wondering now, Lada, if you had a favourite moment to go back to in your life, be it personal or career, what would it be and why?
Yes, let me think. There are quite a few of those, very lucky to say so. I mean, it's connected to various different paths I've taken. You know, I remember as a conservatoire student, for example, as a pianist, I learned an incredibly difficult contemporary piece, and I performed it, you know, in public first time and by memory, and just that feeling of achievement at that moment, that particular concert, the reaction of the audience did stick in my mind. Another would be, for example, all the recordings I've done, you know, finishing that last take and knowing that you put out there something which will hopefully outlive you, and having that message out there for posterity. And then if they get good reviews, then each of them is, of course, very gratifying. Another moment, very happy moment, is in a London taxi when I got the message saying that I've been selected to be an active participant 2 years ago of a conducting course for women organized by Royal Opera House and National Opera Studio and Royal Philharmonic Society. When I got the confirmation that I'm one of the people who've been accepted on it, I will not forget the absolute elevation and exhilaration I felt at that moment. And also many working experiences, the first nights of the opera productions I've been part of, you know, in whatever capacity. But I think those three just spread through various stages of my career. I would pin them out.
That's amazing. That really is amazing. And you've had such a varied career and you've done so many incredible performances all over the world. I'm also wondering, what does music do to your soul when you're sat there and you're about to play, or you hear a piece that really touches you and really touches your heart? What does it do to your soul?
Well, I think it's different when you're receiving the music and when you are actually a conduit for it. Generally, I see us musicians in whatever capacity, conductor, singer, player, we should be the best channel for music we can be. So all the work we do is to not to stand in the way of music and to be able to channel it through us the best way we can. So I'm entering a different kind of state of consciousness when I play, you know, or when I'm making music myself, either together. It's different when you are with somebody else or when you are as a soloist. And I try to just be open and clean so that I do not, my ego or the little gremlins don't jump in. And you know what I mean. You probably know very well.
I know very well those gremlins.
Yeah, little gremlins sitting on your shoulder. Oh, you know. So trying to let them go and listen to the radio inner critic and tune it out. So I would say that is the state I am in when I perform. And when I receive music, what does it do to me? The music which touches me deeply is just a complete resonance with the deepest part of my soul, of my being, as who I am. It's something you possibly cannot put to words, and that's why music is there.
Completely, 100%. I love that answer. It's so organic and authentic. So thank you.
My pleasure.
Now, in terms of when you're about to go on stage and you have that moment where you know you're going to go into that zone that you so beautifully just spoke about, what does that look like for you when you're in the wings about to walk on?
Okay, so there are different, as an example, I will tell you the tour I've been on for the last 2 years, because that's the kind of freshest and most consistent where I could actually compare various performances, which is the Diary of One Who Disappeared, which is produced by Theater Transparant in Belgium, directed by Ivo van Hove. And we've taken the show all over the world. And I played that piece probably, I don't want to lie, but maybe 43 times, maybe more. So at the beginning, when it was premiered, of course, we were all nervous and it was a big deal. and record it on radio or, you know, on live relay. And it is, over the years, you think, am I nervous? What is this state? Am I nervous, or is it exciting? Or is it nervous and exciting? Or am I scared of something? Is there a danger out there that I will maybe not prove something or make it hard for the others? And I think if you tune into the whole, there's various energies which come back to you. And the other, you're playing the same show. That's the best thing about it. You're playing the same show in different places. And sometimes the audience gives you, before you even start, you think, this feels good. The energy is good, you know. And sometimes you come there and you think, this is going to be hard work. And in a way, you know in advance. And you would have thought that if you play it 30th time, there's absolutely no reason to think that anything can go wrong. But we still have that excitement. And I always think it's dangerous when you don't feel it. I think if people say, I just don't get nervous, I'm just go there, and I actually never heard anybody say that, you know, but maybe there are people who would say that. I kind of don't believe it. And if it's so, I don't think it enhances the show that much. I think the excitement we feel needs to be channeled into the performance, and that's what makes it so vital and exciting and sometimes on the edge of the knife. And so that energy, if I can gather it, sometimes it's possible that the gremlin jumps in and the energy just bursts some into some other way. You make some silly mistake. But I mean, for the young performers out there, 90% of audience would never even know that you did something you didn't mean to. And we go backstage after saying, oh my God, this was awful. I made that horrendous mistake there. And everybody's gonna laugh at me, or, you know. And I think I learned not to mention anything like that after the show. I mean, that's, if I can give an advice, if you think you made a mistake, the worst thing you can do is to go back there and say, oh my God, it wasn't that good. Did you hear what I did there? Actually, just like never, ever do that. Because most people won't notice. But if you point it out, then of course, why would you do that? And I learned that hard way because I saw people enjoy the recital or something so much. And then I would come maybe with a little something like that. And I could see them starting to doubt their experience. That maybe there was something I didn't like. And I thought, just don't do it. And if there is a teacher or a wiser person or somebody who knows you very well, or don't analyze the performance straight after you've done it. Like, go have a drink, go and rest. Next day, talk about it, you know.
Yeah, completely. I think there's something to be said for processing before going through that stage of thinking maybe what could have been better. 100%. And butterflies are good. Good butterflies are good because they add the sparkle.
Yes.
So absolutely agree on that. Now, Lada, I've come to my final question. What piece of advice would you give to an 18-year-old Lada?
I would probably say have more courage, have more confidence, have more trust in that, you know, things are going the way they should go. You know, don't undervalue the knowledge you already have. Don't undervalue the skills you already have. And other than that, I think I kind of believe in things panning out as they should be, you know. But I would say, yeah, have more trust and be intuitive. And you don't need to practice 20 hours a day, which I mean, I had days when I would practice 12, 14 hours. That would be the advice I would say. Practically, learn to work efficiently so that you actually have some life, you know. So
I love that, Lada. Oh, Lada, you've been amazing to speak to, and I feel so lucky that I have had the privilege of working with you previously at Royal Academy. So thank you for your time here. Thank you for all that you've taught me previously, and thank you for joining me on Stage to Sofa.
Thank you, Phoebe. It's been such a pleasure.